Today, we'll be talking about how to handle difficult conversations at work. Difficult conversation at workplace is inevitable. Navigating through is important for effective productivity. PJ, you're welcome.
Thank you, Queen.
Sir, please, how can you define a difficult conversation at a workplace?
Okay. Difficult conversation certainly is out of the scope of the purpose of being at work, right?
Okay.
Difficult conversation basically are the discussions that are not necessarily the reasons why we came to the office. We all came to the office to work, to earn our daily pay or monthly pay, as the case may be. And so those difficult conversations we have that are not necessarily connected to the purpose for which we're in the office. For example, talks about relationship. You just saw this beautiful damsel in the office, and suddenly you start bonding. Let's say you both were on a project together, and you kind of appreciate the way she thinks, the way she analyzes, and you begin to appreciate the kind of person, you know. Now, such conversations are not for workplace, but to be discussed because the workplace was the meeting place. So a difficult conversation could be that. So relationship, marriage, could even be finance. All right. So anything that is outside the jurisdiction of the purpose for which you are at the workplace can be seen to be a difficult conversation, yes.
Okay, what if you have a difficult boss in an office? And I'll set an example with this. In an office where they have structured that 8 o'clock is the resumption time.
Okay.
And probably because of traffic or whatever, you find yourself being in the office probably 5 or 10 minutes after the exact time.
Okay.
And then you know your boss is a difficult one. And then you're not coming to the office without no prior notice. You're given a query. And then you need to answer the query constructively and then still explain yourself why you came to work late to that person.
Yeah.
So how will you stand to defend yourself in that regards? Because the person is actually difficult. And this one has to be in an office. Another one I also want to talk about is with that kind of a person that is also very difficult in an office as a boss, and there's a crucial meeting that is about to be held, as in a conference meeting. How would you compose yourself to be able to talk for that person to be able to understand and not say something that also causes chaos or hurts your feelings in that atmosphere?
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Queen, there are difficult bosses in every offices.
Okay.
Not just even offices. There's some difficult wives. There are difficult husbands. Okay? So difficult people are everywhere. We meet them in our day-to-day lives. But taking it to the workplace becomes very serious. The first illustration you gave, okay, your resumption time is 8 a.m. and you got there 5 minutes past 8 or 10 minutes past 8. Ideally, and courtesy demands that when you notice that you are running late, send in words, either to your colleagues or to your supervisor. Please, I will be late for 5 minutes, or I'll be late for 10 minutes. An SMS, simple SMS will do. Now, you can even go further to explain why you might be running late. I am at this point, and there's a slight traffic due to an accident, and so I'll be running late for so and so time. So even if your boss come in your absence, you talk to your supervisor or your colleague, where is Queen? They say, oh, she sent a message that she's at this place. There was a slight accident, and so she'll have a 10 minutes delay. That word you sent has gone ahead of you. That is because you know the kind of person you are dealing with. So when you discover who you are dealing with, you're going to fashion out way on dealing with them without necessarily being in the eyes of the storm, because as a worker, too much of query is not good for you. When it comes to performance appraisal and you have too many queries, it might lead to a suspension or termination. All right? And so if your boss is difficult, let us assume you are right and the boss is difficult, you should know how well to follow your boss. And if you are coming in late into a conference and you know it's a type that can talk and can talk you down, again, send in words. If it's in an office where you respond to him directly, always give him a notice ahead of time. Like this SMS you sent, you can send it politely. Send him as an SMS. All right? But if it has become a norm with you that you must have reasons for coming late, then it becomes a problem. I will not expect a manager to pull down the roof because you came in 10 minutes past late for once in 30 days in a month with justifiable reasons. Except, of course, there are something in his heart that you don't understand.
Okay, so what if I'm just trying to say something out from what you just said?
Yes.
Now, what if that particular boss, because he knows he's a difficult person, is always, how will I say it now? Is always waiting to see any slight fault.
To exploit.
To exploit. Now, in this regards, probably the person even came in before that 8 o'clock a.m. in the office. Okay, I'm just citing with that example again. Yeah. And what if the person comes in that 8 a.m. or probably before 8 a.m. and happens maybe to go into an office, maybe want to check one or two things before getting
and
to...
was not on
yes,
seat.
and was not on seat. And probably the boss now got to see him or her as at the time he or she came to sit.
Yes.
And then issue a query based on that. So how will you write to that?
Okay, thank you. Again, a query is not a death sentence.
Okay.
A query simply means explain yourself why I didn't meet you at your desk at 8 a.m.
And then sometimes, why would they not act verbally? They always want to issue a query.
Unfortunately for workers, verbal warning is also a query, but not written. In a very structured organization, when you have a verbal warning, it goes to your file. Okay. But you don't know, HR will not tell you. It is when your sins are too much, you're surprised. So the verbal warnings are also query, but not written.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the procedure is before you even issue somebody with a query, there shall be 1 or 2 verbal warnings. It is when those verbal warnings are not working, you cannot take it further with a query via mail. Okay. That's what I'm saying. It looks very suspicious when a first offender will just be issued query, especially that will impact on the organization and the operations. Okay? Now, we cannot dig it deep further. It may not be in your scope for today. If the boss is a male and Queen is a female, could there be a possibility that this boss is trying to pick on Queen, trying to find fault so as to weaken and lower your guard because he wants to tell you in the next 2 weeks that you are beautiful?
Okay.
Does it happen?
I've not experienced this, so I wouldn't know if it does happen.
Yes. Okay. So both of these bosses that don't have the boldness to talk to junior staff, they may want to come with the trick of intimidation. Okay. So when you intimidate them, you're losing them up for you to speak what you want to say. But again, yes, it happens, all right? Okay. And again, that's a difficult conversation. Just imagine your boss asking you out. A difficult boss asking you out. Your answers certainly is going to spell doom. If you say yes, you're going to be in the good books. If you say no, you might be on your way out.
Especially when it's a sole proprietor.
Yes, even if it is not sole proprietorship, even if it's a standardized organization, they can initiate a kangaroo transfer.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for that explanation. So how can one manage emotions in a difficult conversation?
Yes, the trend, Queen, has changed from intelligence quotient to emotional quotient. Yeah. Okay? Emotional intelligence, which is the ability to manage your emotion in the midst of storm. So, Queen, not all profession requires mastering the art of public speaking to be successful. Okay. Public speaking is an art, A-R-T. That is a study. It's a discipline where the etiquette of the profession is being taught. Okay. It has to do with your delivery, preparation, your eye contact, and body gesture. And so, I don't need to be a carpenter. I don't need to be a good sound orator to be a successful carpenter. I don't even need to know the art of public speaking to be a successful medical doctor. So if we are talking about the art of mastering public speaking, it should be limited to those in that field, those that talk with the public.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And so we cannot judge the success of a man by the sophistication of his grammar or by the eloquence with which he delivers his sermon. No. So we need to come down to every profession and look at the nitty-gritty of every profession and what makes them successful, and not sweet, smooth grammar.
And so how come in the environment where we find ourselves, these things that you said now are not really much needed? They will prefer the person to be that vocal,
eloquent and
very eloquent.
Yes. Okay.
Outside the body gestures and every other, the person must be highly eloquent.
Now, this is the confusion point.
Okay.
There is a strict difference between a public speaker and a good communicator.
Okay.
All public speakers are communicators, but not all communicators are public speakers.
Okay.
So I might not go to the four walls of a university. I communicate with you with my vernacular. You understand what I'm saying? I have communicated.
Yes.
So what's communication? Communication is me saying something to your understanding.
Yes.
So the sophistication is not necessary in that regard. Unfortunately, the society don't know these two things. Okay. So the moment I can communicate, I have something in my mind I want to tell you, I said it in the way I can't say it, and you got exactly what I meant. We have communicated. And so in communication, there is a feedback. So once I speak and there's a feedback of a note of acceptance from you, then we have communicated.
Okay.
So what the world looks to be successful is how to communicate your ideas, not the masteries in which we deliver them. Communicate your ideas, communicate your vision, communicate your purpose. So anybody that hears you can understand.
So in the area of public speaking,
good,
like where we are now,
yes,
I want to tell our viewers what it actually means to master on how to talk publicly.
Now, mastering to speak in the public, now, like I said, there's the ethics of the profession, and there's the etiquettes, the rules. For example, a trained public speaker will not handle this stand. In public speaking, I have failed. In public speaking, you'll be told your eye contact. In public speaking, I'll also be told that when I make 3-4 sentences, I give a pause so you can digest what I am saying, and not me speaking like a mouth of a ready pen writer.
And so most of them, you see them talking for 1 hour, 2 hours, they're still talking.
They are applying the principles. That's why it's sinking in your head. They can talk for 4 hours and keep you glued because they talk and interject with a joke. They talk and they hit their podium. When they hit the podium, it's not for fun. They're calling your attention.
The one you're talking about are the ones maybe organizing like MCs. Those are the ones that will talk and then put a joke. But the ones that are saying something very important, like people who are giving the newscasters and all that.
I use a joke, for example. No, newscasters is different from this.
Are they not also public speakers?
No, newscaster, they already have a written script.
Okay.
They are to read and observe some ethics of presentation.
Okay.
A man that is a public speaker invited to a symposium to give a talk for 2 hours. Now
like
he
in a
knows
seminar,
that keeping you seated for 2 hours is a problem. So his first job is not to deliver his speech. His first job is to keep you seated for 2 hours without knowing the time is gone. How is he going to do that? Okay, I'm going to be interjecting, not necessarily with a joke. It could be an illustration.
Okay.
A captivating story that can keep you in suspense. All right? It is called pentalogical, actually. Taking you from the known to the unknown. All of these are schooled. You learn them.
Wow.
You want to be an administrator?
No.
Public speaker?
No.
Why?
I really have a profession, and I'm happy where I am.
How do you convince your customers, your clients, to buy into your dream?
Ours is not that difficult. Okay. Ours is to see the person in charge of whosoever the field, I'm into, needed just the corporate affairs managers or the administrators. Okay. You talk to them, they only tell you, okay, go and bring a proposal, submit to tell us what you are into, and then tell you the dates you need to come. Maybe when you have
so when you
time.
come, don't you talk?
They'll ask you 1 or 2 questions, probably what job have you done, which companies have you worked for, can you do a sample of what you have done so that we can see and all that. And so ours is basically,
graphic industry.
Yes, ours is basically the practical
you.
of what you do. You understand? So I don't...
But you can still learn it. Who knows if you can become a lecturer tomorrow. You can give symposium on how to be a wonderful publisher. What do you think?
Okay, you always give something a trial.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us on this show. So, dear viewers, thank you for joining us on this episode. Till we meet again next time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Shalom greeting in Jesus' precious name.
Amen.